Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I'm on the right mic. There we go. We are on. Wonderful. Let's see if people start jumping on. It's taking a couple minutes. There we go. Now we're jumping on. That's fascinating. Twitter Periscope went faster than Facebook tonight. Welcome, everybody. Charlotte, Michigan. How's it going? Awesome. Here we go. Oh, I lost my information here. There we go. Okay. Hello, Kentucky, California, Illinois, San Diego, Arkansas, Connecticut, Oregon. Lovely. I'm looking up right now some breaking information that I've found that I will let you know about. It is pouring here. We've been in storms all weekend, and so I won't promise that everything goes perfectly with the internet tonight, but thank you for jumping on, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network. Sorry, my mind is on this tweet because I just found something tonight that could be very, very interesting for the whole thing. So this started with a tweet regarding George Floyd. So this is Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. I welcome you all to the show on a Sunday night, and I'm back from a nice weekend of my wife having a wonderful little birthday. I hope she did. She said she did. And it was a combination of trying to rest and relax, but a combination of also knowing you're trying to read everything that's going on. And apparently stuff was going crazy over the weekend, especially in D.C. and New York City, as a lot of people know. But fascinating thing, I'm going to start with this. So George Floyd. So has everyone heard some of the latest stuff coming out of the George Floyd issue, which is that it's very possible. So the police were called because he was trying to pass a fraudulent $20 bill. Okay. So, which is fascinating in itself. And then they came, and then it goes deeper. So there's no way they would have taken him down for a fraudulent $20 bill like that. But it's very possible that Chauvin, the officer that actually did possibly the killing, was involved in a money laundering scheme of which Floyd knew about and got busted. And so then this is how it plays out. Now, I'm just getting some of this information, so I don't know I don't know the whole thing. But as I went deeper, here's another one. This is from, I'm not going to bring this up because I don't have the whole thing right now. I actually have it on my phone right now, which you guys can't see because it's so bright. But this is from at Carol Quigley 1. Okay, this is one of those holy bleep moment things you'll find while digging. So the owner of the club that George Floyd worked for was Maya Santamaria. Now, Maya's mother attended the University of Hawaii at the same time as Obama's mom in the same department. So it says family favor ? So now I'm not saying that this is that they're actually saying this is not all confirmed and that is true, but they're still digging. They're trying to figure out how this all goes together. Okay, but also it says, was Floyd murdered over knowledge of a counterfeit currency operation? Because there's a tweet here that talks about this exact thing and it's very possible that Chauvin was involved with the whole thing. And so also Obama being involved with the whole thing, because if Obama was involved with the mother of the person who ran the club that Floyd was at, this goes really deep. And I don't even know all the details right now, so I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole super crazy. But there's definitely something involved. On top of that, this is Ilhan Omar's city. So she also has major ethics issues, because it looks like she married her brother to get citizenship, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's deeper down that rabbit hole tonight for Floyd, possibly Obama involved as well. And we know that this is obviously not at all what they're saying it is. And on top of that, someone drew up a really great meme, and it's not really a meme, it's more of a knowledge meme, where they did the first, George Floyd got a gold casket, not open, and based on the pixels involved in the picture, the casket would have been roughly 5 feet 4 inches, maybe a little longer. Yet George Floyd was 6 feet, I think 6 or 8 inches tall. So the casket would have had to be exceptionally long, and it wasn't anywhere near his size. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a casket there for show and nobody in it, but who does that? I mean, I've been to family members' funerals where there was a casket and the person was definitely in there. That's obviously what we usually see. So this is a complete hoax one way or another. Why was this all done? Great question. So right now, Minneapolis and New York City are announcing that they are in the works. It's got to get approval, but it will. That they're defunding police offices or police precincts, essentially. So the NYPD is going to be defunded, which I posted earlier. The Minneapolis PD will probably be defunded as well. This is very dangerous. I'm going to go into this deeper in a little bit, because I want to let everyone know what I think is going down. So you're going to have anarchy. Now, a very important word, which many people have heard, and that word is called democracy. And I think even the president has mistakenly said the word before. We live in a democratically elected representative constitutional republic. So let me say that again. Democratically elected representatives in a constitutional republic. Okay, now how do these connect? How does this connect? So they're defunding because these are liberal cities. They are trying everything they can do to knock out the president. But they keep talking about a democracy. In reality, they want a democracy / anarchy. You will have anarchy without police officers. Okay, so a lot of people, and I'll tell you, there is protests going on down in even Orlando, not near where I live, but close enough, where they're protesting the police department. And I do not agree at all with the defunding of police departments. Let me actually take you to a video that I think some of you have probably seen. I'm going to take it to you anyway, because I want before I dive into this, I want to give you guys a little bit of background on what's going on, but also understanding that this is not a race thing. This is simply a war. So let me take you to this video. And unfortunately, I got this video on CNN. I don't like giving them viewership, but oh well, we'll get past it. So here we go.
Keep our police safe is Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. He is going to be speaking at the Republican convention tomorrow night. Sheriff, thank you very much for that horrific day. I spoke to the heads of the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police down there, and they told us how their hearts were reeling. Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
That's what they said to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe them. Of
Any
course I believe them
protests
when they say
over the
that.
deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
With all due respect, do you know that this was because of that?
Yes, I do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, do you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today. But
was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand, and listen.
I'm looking at 3 dead cops this week,
Sheriff,
and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
If you'll just please, we can keep it civil. So, because the message to people at home, I'm sure you want, is one of civility.
I wish, Don, I wish you had that message of civility
have a conversation
toward this hateful ideology, these purveyors of hate.
You don't know what my message is.
That's
what I want
they
to say
do.
to you is,
these people preach vile and virtue in the name of hate.
We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back.
So, first of all, that was 2016. So I don't want anyone to get to think that this was not recently. This was 4 years ago. But Sheriff Clark is fantastic. He's obviously one of kind of quote unquote America's sheriffs. He's phenomenal. And you see a couple things here. One, you see Sheriff Clark calling on the BS of Don Lemon. Don Lemon is a joke. I will give Don Lemon some props. He either has been trained so well, or he is MK Ultra'd so well that he literally could sit there and give shit back to Sheriff Clark. And let me tell you, if I was sitting at a desk with Sheriff Clark, that guy's pretty intimidating. Like, I wouldn't be going against him. I'd be on his side, so I'd have no problems. But for Don Lemon to sit there and actually hang with him, I'm actually a bit impressed. I have a feeling that's a little MK Ultra. Don Lemon is a traitor to the U.S. He's a complete joke. But this was 2016. But even Clark says he's been watching this for 2 years, and he is completely against what's going on. And he's a black man. I mean, everyone who thinks that this is a race war, it absolutely is not a race war. It's a complete and utter joke what is happening right now. Now, let me take that deeper. So I told you regarding the democratically elected representatives in a constitutional republic. Now, this is pushing cities to anarchy, but they're not going to call it anarchy. What they're going to call it is, they're going to call it democracy. That's what they're going to call it. They have been pushing the word democracy down your throats for years on television. All right? That's what they've been doing. And democracy is not a good thing. Democracy, right, is 2 wolves, 1 sheep. And they get to vote for what's for dinner. You've heard that a billion times, obviously. And the 2 wolves are going to win. And they're going to... But that's... Okay, so we do democratically elect our representatives. It's essentially a popular vote, right? Understandable. It's smaller election. It goes by districts. It's very different. Presidency, obviously, is done by electoral college. And that's very, very important because you do not want the densely populated cities running the whole show for the rural areas, which have less densely populated, but still should have an equal type vote. And that's why the electoral college is so important. That's why the founders put it there. However, these guys, the one who are defunding all their police, They want to push it towards democracy because what they're putting is they're taking all the money, they're shifting it away from the police departments, the NYPD, Minneapolis, others will follow. They want to shift the money away from police, and they want it to public social programs. Now, does that sound like community organizing, like President Obama's garbage? This is what they're going to do. And then they're going to want the community to decide for everybody what they want in certain areas. That is mob rule. That is democracy. That is what you don't want. They're trying to push this in the cities. So when you get rid of the police, you're going to have drug cartels pop back up. You're going to have murder through the roof, homicide, suicide, you name it. There was a picture on Twitter today of the country of Mexico, and basically saying that's what it looks like when you have essentially anarchy, because they make their own rules. And in a republic, we get personal liberties, right? Meaning if I don't like something that someone else is doing, I can have my own life. They don't get to vote on it for me. Like my town, my state doesn't get to vote something me out of it, right? We have those abilities to get our own, to have our own liberties, right? That's why the country is run the way it is. So this is their way to have local socialism, local democracy. And they're going to push that word democracy like crazy. So be careful of that depending on where you live. I'm telling you right now, between taxes in New York, now mandatory vaccine laws, and also now you have a city that is going to defund their entire police department. Remember I said like a month or so ago that New Yorkers, Ohioans, Michigan, like you have to stand. At what point is your line in the sand? At what point do you do something? You either have to, you are getting to the point, if you live anywhere near the city, upstate New York, a little different, but it's going the same way. If you live anywhere near the city, anywhere near the city, you either have to stand up at this point or you have to get the hell out. One of the two. I love New York City. I'm a gigantic New York Yankee fan. Don't follow it as much as I used to because sport. I just have found other loves in my life instead of sports. But I'm a giant Yankee fan. I still love watching Yankee baseball. I'm not traveling to New York anytime soon. Why would anyone go into the city right now with no to police department? And then people are going to say, "Oh no, it's okay because we have social programs now. We have social organizations that are going to decide what's right and what's wrong." No, I'm not going into your area. I'm not going into your area. There's a lot of Red Sox fans out there. I'm not going into your area and living by your rules when your rules are junk. We always thought like the police force is there predominantly not to be harmful, but to protect your rights. So even with these protesters out, a friend of mine, Edwin, actually sent me a video of, I believe his name is Anomaly or something like that, part of a band. And he even had a really great point. Even when you create a protest, do you realize, even if it's a peaceful protest, do you realize you're impacting potentially businesses, people in a negative way? Not to say you can't have a peaceful protest. I'm just saying, and he's right, is you're technically impacting local businesses in a negative way because they might lose businesses in the fact that you're protesting to the area. The police have to rearrange an entire area for you to be successful or to carry out your peaceful protest. Police are there to help predominantly, okay? What you had in Minneapolis with this mock killing, whatever it was, that is a thing gone bad, and that is probably a staged act that has nothing to do with us in managing our world, Okay, so I just want to bring that up. Next is, now this also goes in, this actually goes into a little bit of the police problem, but it's not directly. It's a transition to police. We're talking about inner cities. Like, you're not talking about defunding rural police departments, because that probably would never go down. This is city stuff, okay? The cities want to have socialism. Now, the other thing in inner cities we have a problem with is, now we have the black population in inner cities. Now, why is it a problem? Because the Gates Foundation, Melinda Gates, I posted this on Saturday night, I think. Melinda Gates was interviewed by Time Magazine, and they said they want to have the vaccines ready. First in line are healthcare workers, and then the black inner city population, because they were impacted by the disease more prominently. Right now, this is population control, and I personally am outraged. Okay, I'm outraged as a Caucasian male, but as a individual who loves humanity, no matter what color, race, religion, background anyone is, right? You're now offending me by saying you're going after the black population first with vaccines because they were impacted more by the disease. No, what you're doing is, for the billionth time, you're going in to cull the black population in the inner cities. You're going into the inner cities and you're going to prey on the people you actually made weaker, because at the end of the day, the liberal world has gotten the black population on board with them because they said they were going to take care of them. But what you really did, liberals, deep state cabal, is you weakened the population, because you know that you had to weaken a stronger population, because, as we know, if you go all the way back, man probably began in Africa, so you actually had probably very pure and strong DNA, which is a good thing. And then this is a way they're trying to get rid. I don't know how, like, I feel like yelling this sometimes. Like, I have a lot of passionate subjects, but for some reason I get very, very angry when I know that they're literally they're saying that they fully support the black community, and they want to give them advice in parenthood, and they want to give them advice on how to be ethical so they don't go to jail, when in reality you're doing the exact opposite. What they're doing is they're literally pushing them down farther and farther and farther, and they're helping abort black babies, and they're helping cull the inner city population of blacks with vaccines, because you know fully well if you alter their DNA, you can alter the DNA for good, and ultimately you can destroy the civilization. That's exactly what they're doing. That's all Planned Parenthood is, right? They are trying to destroy the black population, and predominantly the inner cities. And it's interesting because even Dr. William Thompson, who's the whistleblower, I believe, at the CDC, he even found out that the vaccines not only were affecting Caucasian males and females, but they were more affecting black males. That was the science. They are literally trying to destroy blacks off the map, off the planet. And that should be scary to everybody. None of us should be allowing that to happen. And not only that, in it, she said that Africa was overpopulated. How is that possible? You have this gigantic, aren't they the largest isn't Africa the largest continent on the planet? I think it is. I don't know off the top of my head. If I'm remembering from my geography days, I believe Africa is the largest continent. How can you say that Africa is overpopulated. No, that is your excuse to go and destroy human beings. That's what they're doing. They're going after healthcare workers, which, by the way, I can't wait to see the Gates Foundation go after healthcare workers because I fall into that world, right? And many of you out there fall into that world. I cannot wait until they say vaccines are mandatory for healthcare workers. Because you know what? I know a lot of doctors and a lot of nurses who are going to lawyer up and they're going to hit you back so damn hard it's not going to be funny. If you think that healthcare workers are going to line up for a vaccine, that tells me the Gates, they're pretty stupid. So for as smart as Bill and Melinda Gates are, which I think they switch sexes. I'll go into that in a second. I didn't plan on it, but I will. Doctors and nurses and people in the healthcare field are typically pretty intelligent. They have to go through a lot of school. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to get their lawyers, and they're basically going to tell the Gates Foundation and the governments to F off, right? So get ready, because that's most likely what's going to happen. All right, and then they go after the black population. They outright went after the black population in the Time magazine article, and she made it sound like she was so sympathetic to the population. And in reality, she's being sinister. Now, it's such a train wreck. Now, are Bill and Melinda Gates reversed? I think they are. Keep in mind, when you're dealing with this cult, now, I posted this before as well. Everyone thinks it's a satanic cult, like that they're actually following Satan. They're not. Right now, they might be following a Lucifer of some kind. I don't know at the top level what I've read stuff, but I don't know 100%. But I do know, based on several sources, David Icke being one of them, is they are worshiping Saturn. Okay, it is the cult of Saturn, which I'm going to go into last year. So what they do is they play with this thing called duality. It's a mirror, right? You have the top and the bottom, as above, so below. You've heard that, right? They mirror things. They flip things. So they're in such a weird, messed up cult that they actually believe they're doing good by being on the bottom. So they actually flip their sexes. So yes, you did notice, and I think everyone at this point who's seen the picture has noticed that, like Melinda Gates, when she was like 20 or 30 years old, she was a relatively attractive female, right? And then you see her now. She doesn't look, I mean, obviously she's older, but she looks like a man. And Bill Gates looks more like a aging grandmother, I guess you could say. And then Melinda Gates does wear an upside down cross, which is the cult of Saturn, the cult of Baal, which I'll actually go into. Yes, Melinda Gates is most likely flipped, and so has Bill Gates. This is what they do. They literally work on deception. That is their prime goal, is deception, right? It's insane. Absolutely insane. Now, this is what I'm going to finish off on tonight, because I'm not going to go too late. Try to get some rest again, because I did not sleep at the hotel very well, because it wasn't that comfortable for some reason. Plus all the chaos going on. But I want to show you something that I find very fascinating, okay? I think I've shown this in the past, but I'm going to show it again because it's so fascinating. And this is kind of how we got to this point, all right? Now, here we go. I'm going to share a screen with you. Here we go. Okay. Has everyone seen this? Okay. Now, this technically actually goes back to Cain and Abel. And this one doesn't necessarily show Cain and Abel, but it does go back to Cain and Abel. So you have the cult of Baal. Baal worship, human sacrifice. Comes down to the Canaanites. Okay? The Sumerians. Now, Sumerians is a well-studied area. Now, I want to take you just through a couple things. I'm not going to go through all of this, obviously, because it's very, very deep. But down here we have, here's the sin of the golden calf, which many of you probably read. Abraham and Isaac over here. All right. Yahweh. And again, I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong. I'm just taking you through a couple different things to show you where this all comes from, okay? And you can download this. And when you download this, you have to go. A lot of people ask me where I got it. Let's see here. I think I just Googled Q Maps, and then I went to images, and you can find it, and then you bring it up, and you can blow it up. So I don't know if you can see it well there. It's not. It gets a little blurry. The pixelization is a little bit there. So, and I'm not saying it's all dead on right, obviously, but a lot of it is right. We do know from looking through it. However, we go over here, and this right here is Akhenaten. Okay, there's right here on the left-hand side. If you see my mouse, I don't know if you can see my mouse. It's the left of the pharaohs of Egypt. This is the worship of sun disk. This is what Bina believes that President Obama was molded from, is Akhenaten. Okay, so that's Egypt. All right, now in here you see Moloch. If you don't want to know what Moloch is, Moloch, there's my pointer. Moloch is what the Bohemian Grove people worship in the forests of what is it called? I've been there, not Bohemian Grove, but I've been to the forest, and it'll come to me. But it's a very creepy feeling area. All right. So that again, Akhenaten is over here. Atonism, worship of sun disk. All right. Now I'm going to go down a little bit more. Here's Moses and Zion. Now I posted something tonight about Zionism. Let me jump over here. I'll come back to this. I posted something tonight that I'm not going to go into tonight because I had to go deeper on it. But I posted something about Kushner, Ivanka, and Trump, and about the Rothschilds being Turkish and then becoming Khazarian Jews. And I'm not going to go into this, but let me tell you, I'm just going to warn you now. I will lose followers on this. I don't care. I've said this before. Once you go down the world of Zionism, everyone flips out on you. They bring up anti-Semitism, which is complete garbage. So, just so I can... So, Ike talks about Zionism. Jim Mars talks about Zionism. Zionism, it's not a secret. It's not a mystery. However, a lot of the Jewish people get really mad at you because they think you're trying to say the Jews are bad, and that's not true. What happened was the Rothschild and the bankers, for the billionth time in the world, took over the land and called themselves Jewish, and they're not. And they actually stole the land from the actual Jewish people, the Israelis, and they stole it from Palestinians. And a lot of people get mad over that one. Why do people get mad over that one? Because you've been lied to. That's why. So the Israelis and the Palestinians literally got screwed over both their lands. And the Israelis now are making you not the real Israelis. The Rothschilds, the Khazarian mafia, they call themselves Jews. They're not. They're lying to everybody through the media and making you believe that they're actually Jewish, and they're not. You can go look it up. Like, people ask me, like, how do you know this? Well, this is, you're talking about anti-Semitism. No, we're not talking about, please. Like, can we get over the whole fact that you should always question history, all right? Just because you have Benjamin Netanyahu parading himself around on television with the Star of David doesn't mean it's a fully legit thing, right? It's not. Your state was stolen from you a long time ago by bankers. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you want to go down the road of the Great Awakening, some of you can't handle it. You have to unlearn stuff that you thought was true to find out what's really true. All right? It's just like the Bushes. The Bush's last name is not Bush, it's Scherf. They were Nazis. All right? The Nazis, so why does everyone freak out about the Rothschilds and Zionism when it's proven, but they don't freak out about Operation Paperclip, which was taking all the Nazis from Germany and coming over here. And even Hitler didn't really die. And that's proven now on the History Channel. They talk about it all the time. But yet everyone flips out about Zionism you know why they flip out about it? Because they're scared to death to confront the fact that they've been lied to for their entire life. And this is part of the problem with the Great Awakening. I don't care what your story is that you've been told regarding world history, politics, religion, etc. It does not matter what you've been told. If you do not open your mind and understand that a majority of what you've been taught in life is a lie, you're going to have a lot of troubles. Because the only way to get to the other side and to be one of the awake ones that goes on to this great, amazing, hopefully new world is you have to be willing to see things you didn't think were real. Right? So when someone tells you that, oh my gosh, like when they talk about is Israel being our allies, Israel is not our ally. And when they talk about Israel, they're not talking about Jesus Christ. They're talking about the government, which is bought and paid for by the Rothschilds. So again, I'm going to lose followers. I don't care, because you cannot truly understand the truth until you go down that road. All right? And let me tell you, I've been to all those websites. They get hammered for anti-Semitism, all this different stuff, when in reality is you've been lied to. The reason why America was Israel's greatest ally is because the Rothschild bankers, as well as all the other 13 families in the top of the pyramid, lied to you, and it's the war machine. It's the war machine, it's the finance machine, it's the religion machine. That's what they did, all right? So, you're going to have to wake up to that one. That is a hard red pill to swallow, I promise you that. And this goes back to a religious war that's been going on forever, but all the people you think are actually following Christ in the whole Zionism Israeli world, like the Netanyahus, no. They're following the cult of Baal. They're following the satanic cult. They're following the Saturn cult. That's what they're following, okay? So, that's why I said I'm going to go down deeper into the Trump, Ivanka, Jared thing, because I don't know if Jared is good or bad. I do know he's Jewish, but I believe he's legitimate. I believe, don't beat me up, and if you find other information, send it, that's fine. I believe he comes from the other side of the Jewish faction, which is not the Rothschild faction. I don't know. People have said he's been tied to Soros before. I don't know. Remember I said my one wild card who I don't know is Jared Kushner. I don't know. I'm going to have to find out more. But I will tell you, Q said Israel will be dealt with last. If you don't think that there's something more to Israel at this point, and I have looked at Israel from probably for at least 5+ years now, is every time I hear it too, every time I hear a politician say, well, Israel's our ally, I know full well they're on the dark side, because we should be allies with our true Jewish Israeli people, right? The good people of Israel, the citizens of Israel, good people. Jews. And then you have Palestine people, who you have nice, good Palestinian people. But however, you have a hidden party, right? The Rothschilds, the bankers, the Zionists. You have the hidden party that is making them destroy themselves. So think of it that way. You have good Israelis, you have good Palestinians. Why would they attack each other all the time? Why would they go back? Why would they constantly battle? Do you know why? Not because they don't like each other. You know why? Because the bankers sit right up here. And the bankers say, no, Israelis are the right people. And then this is how it works. I posted probably end of last week. The secret hidden party. The secret hidden party at the top is the one that is making these two bicker and battle each other. And that's the problem. Once these two at the bottom see the one at the top that's making them bicker, they will have peace overnight. Guaranteed. Even if you believe that thousands of year religious war can't be fixed overnight, if you handle the problem, those two will come together and have peace overnight. I guarantee you. Okay? Just so you know. Let me go back to this. A couple more minutes on this. So, again, we have the tablets of law, Moses, okay? Now, we have monotheism, we have Judea, we have the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was the cult of Saturn. Why do you think, okay, and honestly, this all goes back to why Christ was murdered, crucified, right? We have Caesar up here. We have Zeus, Jupiter, Jehovah. Now, you're going to have to go through this all yourself. I'm not telling you what to think. Here's the cult of Saturn right here under the Roman Empire. Okay, we're good. All right, here, look, Venus, morning star, Lucifer, up to Caesar. Okay, this is why it's so important to look through this and understand this. Over on the right, we have the Pharisees, Hellenization. You'll know some of these words. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them. Here, look, Dead Sea Scrolls on the right. The Book of Enoch under the Dead Sea Scrolls on the right. Book of Enoch, book taken out of the Bible, talks about ETs. All right. Here's Islam over here. Look, Vatican right in the middle. Okay, the Cabal right here to the right. Here's Islam, 632 AD. The papal states, however you say that. Over here you have the Vatican, St. Peter, inverted crucifixion. Bina talks about this all the time. All right, and then we have coming down here. Here's the Crusades, Holy Land, the Cathars, Teutonic Knights, the Templars. Here's the Knights Templar, right here. Kabbalah in the middle. That's what Madonna. Have you heard Madonna talk about her study of the Kabbalah? There you go. Sharia law right here. So we have Islam going down here, right? Oh, I forgot to show up here. Lucifer. There's Lucifer. All right. They were following Lucifer. That's what the top Masons go after, is Lucifer. That's what they believe is the architect. All right. Going down here a little bit more. Black nobility, Order of Malta. I went to Malta before. I've been to Malta. I saw their churches. It's an interesting place. Lots of weird stuff out there. Okay, I'm going down farther. Again, I'm just kind of taking you some highlights here. You're going to have to go learn it yourself. Okay, Freemasonry. And here's the Masons. Yeah, right? Luciferianism. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, just so you know, let me give you a clear up on this too, and a disclaimer. I did not say that all Masons are following Lucifer. That's not what I said. The majority of Masons are very good people. They're very God-fearing. It's only a problem when you get to the upper tiers, which many of them don't even know about. Like all the presidents are 33-degree Masons. I don't know if Trump is. I have not found any evidence of that. It's not me. It's not me covering for him. I just haven't found it. So let me go back to this. I'm going to finish this up quick. Okay. The Venetians, the Inquisition, Society of Jesus Jesuits. All right. And then we have the Glorious Revolution of 1688. And then here we go, 1769, the Rothschild Dynasty. The Rothschild Dynasty right there. Okay? And then here you go, the Bavaria Illuminati. The Illuminati today is the Bavaria Illuminati, 1776. Now, keep in mind, yes, some of our founding fathers were Masons and were Illuminati. I don't know fully all the ones that were or all the ones that won't. But this is also why I talked to you about the fact that I believe there's a Gnostic Illuminati versus a basically satanic Illuminati. Okay? And I believe the Gnostic Illuminati is more of a quote-unquote good Illuminati, if you can be good, obviously. And then we have here the Act of 1871, District of Columbia, the Federal Reserve of 1913. This is the banking system. Here's Bilderberg. And then you have Masonic Atlantis, 1776, Novus Ordo Seclorum. So you have to go look at all of this, okay? You have to go. I'm not going to go any farther than that now that I've showed you that. I've shown this before, but tonight I went a little deeper on it, okay? Hey, look, here's the sinking of the Titanic. The sinking of the Titanic, which kills opposition to the Fed. Once they sunk the Titanic, they put the Federal Reserve in, the international bankers, okay? League of Nations, World War II, Adolf Rothschild Hitler, right? So, now, I will tell you, the problem with this one is, guys, if you go here, you're going to have your stories, you're going to have your belief systems challenged. I keep telling you that. but you're going to have your belief system challenged. Now, what I want to say about this with the U.S., because when you read this, I think a lot of people misread it. I think a lot of people believe once they read this that all the founding fathers were evil, they were Luciferian. I don't believe that's true, right? I believe that you had the NWO, New World Order, the Adam Weishaupt Illuminati, and then you have the Gnostic Illuminati, meaning Enlightenment, okay? I believe you had those, okay? Now, I believe people like Thomas Jefferson, because Thomas Jefferson had his own Bible, and then he also had a lot of Jesus's parables taken out, and he studied them all the time. Jefferson was, I don't want to say the real founding father. Jefferson was far more important than Washington. Does everyone know that even though Washington was our first president, Washington was not a good person, right? He was a great general. He did not want to be president. He didn't want to be the first president, okay? But Washington was not, either was Hamilton. Hamilton sold us into a central bank. So the one you really need to focus on are people like Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was a genius, okay? Now, the interesting thing about today is President Trump is a Thomas Jefferson junkie. So I follow Jefferson more than I don't really follow Washington. I know some of his stuff, but I know too much about Washington. Same with Hamilton. I do wear a shirt that says Hamilton talks about people governing the people, but I'm really a Jefferson person. Also Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death. So of all the people, and there's more that I study as well, but definitely Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson are the two amazing ones, okay? So when you look through that, just saying, be prepared. You're gonna have your beliefs, your stories challenged, okay? But it's a phenomenal map to go over. I'm actually gonna get you can go buy these on whatever page they're on. There's a person that actually makes these. You can get them made into posters. I think like $25, and the person who makes them is a good person. So support them if you can. Okay, good, awesome. Okay, guys, that is it for me with content tonight. If you have a couple questions, I'll be happy to answer as much as I can. I'll take 5 or less questions. Okay, good. Let's rock and roll. If you have a question, I'll answer it to the best of my ability. All right. I think I had someone on here that said they used to be a Mason. Yes, yeah, exactly. So George Washington was a Freemason against the Illuminati. That's very possible. I'm not saying Washington was bad. I'm just saying he wasn't as great as everyone said he was. Okay. Okay, good. Let's see. Not a lot of people like Ivanka. What is the Bohemian Grove? It is where a lot of elite go to sacrifice ritual sacrifices. Some say they actually sacrifice kids. Some say it's just a burning wood or whatever, but they also say that they chase and hunt kids throughout the forest. I don't know all of it. You can go look it up though. That's Bohemian Grove. Washington wasn't not 8th president. I don't know. I've never heard that before. Okay. What does defunding the police mean? It means no police. So the New York City commanders say they're walking away, and there's possibly upwards of 800 police force retiring immediately within this week, maybe. Was Kennedy good? As far as I know. Is there new info coming out about Epstein? I believe there will be, yes. Let's see. Is there a way to avoid anarchy? Not in the cities. Any opinion on Canada's Trudeau? Justin Trudeau, as far as I understand, is the son of Fidel Castro. Do I have... Now, people are going to say, give me sources. It's just research. Do I know for sure? No. But do they look similar? Yes. And Justin Trudeau is a globalist. So get him out of Canada. Good. Let's see. Did you see the May 17 tweet of Obama? No, I did not. Is John F. Kennedy Jr. still alive? John Kennedy Jr. still alive? I hope so. That'd be a fantastic story. Yes, Alex Jones got films of Bohemian Grove. Yes. Let's see. What is the cytokine storm? I'll go into that another night. It's more longer. answer. Let's see here. Look, I'm looking for a couple more questions. Do I see martial law coming? Probably. That's all I'm going to go into on it because I don't know all the details. I don't like that idea, but it's probably coming. I think we're going to get to it. Just remember, we still have 5 months left till the election. So you're defunding police forces in major cities 5 months before the election. I don't see how we don't have martial law at some point. I don't want martial law, but we'll go more into that. Okay. Thoughts on the new king? I don't buy it. Not necessarily yet. I looked through a little bit more and I don't know. It doesn't, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not true. I just don't necessarily buy it. Okay, I'm a little skeptical on that. Will the White House be attacked? We will see. I do not know for sure. There was rumor that it could be. When will this happen? I do not know. Probably next year. If there's a reset, it would probably go into next year. Let's see. I doubt defunding the police forces will have an immediate effect. We'll see. I hope not, but I don't see how it isn't. Are the aliens coming? We'll see. There are more crop circles in the UK. Let's see. Couple more questions. There's a whole bunch of people on here. That's fantastic. When am I having Morley on again? I was gonna have him on Friday, but he was out of town as well. And I barely just got to you guys Friday night. Like, honestly, within like 15 minutes of me arriving at the hotel. So it was close. I will work on Morley for this week, okay? I told him you were anxious to hear from him again. Is the economy going to tank? Probably yes. Probably right after the election. They might try to do it again. So I will end on this. I'm going to go into the RH, I promise. We'll do it this week, but I need time to go into that. That's one of those things I have to spend a good chunk of time on. This is what I see happening. As much as I would love for Dr. Judy Mikovits to be right that the second wave isn't coming, I think the second wave is coming. I think that we will probably have some sort of weird, crazy shutdown again before the election because I think they're going to push the whole mask thing all over again. I think they're going to try to, I don't say it's going to happen. Based on what I'm seeing, I think that they're going to have another quarantine, but this time maybe martial law quarantine. Don't get scared. Don't panic. We'll make it through. It's okay. I'm just letting you know what I think is probably going to happen, okay? Good. I'll answer some more questions tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on with Iran and the Persia thing. I didn't read into enough of it. I saw some tweets, and that's about it. So I can't speak intelligently on it, and I don't want to sound like an idiot and give you wrong information. Yes, mandatory vaccines were voted in Colorado. They lost today. You guys lost 7-4 from the committee. So mandatory vaccine law is going. It's not law yet that I understand. If someone from Colorado is out there and has some more information, I don't know. I had a lot of friends out there. But it passed the committee. So you're probably going to get mandatory vaccinations in Colorado. So you better keep fighting like crazy because it's getting insane out there. Okay, guys. I know there's more questions. I'm going to sit down before we go to bed. I'll look through some more and see what I can find. You can always message me as well. And I have people still wanting to come see me for their health care. That is perfectly fine. Get healthy at drjasondean.com. Get healthy at drjasondean.com. We help thousands of people every month. I'm happy to do it. I handle everything from the common cold to cancer patients. So there's nothing I haven't seen. And you folks are a joy to work with. I really do love working with you all. So let me know. I am happy to help. And yes, we're doing parasite cleanses like crazy. So let me know. Lots of parasites going on. We just had a full moon. We had a whole surge of it this week where people were feeling digestive problems, bloating, headaches, sugar cravings like crazy. You know you have parasites when you have massive sugar cravings and you just want to eat sugar and carbs, okay? So there you go. All right, guys. You have an amazing, wonderful evening, the rest of your weekend, Sunday nights. Be blessed. Be well. Love you all. I will be back tomorrow night, 9:30. And I also have a good special guest tomorrow, Dr. Glowacki, I believe at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to go over some information from Los Angeles out in the West Coast, as well as some pathogen information for everybody. He's a really good friend. He's an amazing guy. So check that out as well. Okay. Be well. Take care of yourself. Be prepared. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network signing off. Have a amazing, awesome, wonderful Sunday night. Bye-bye.